Erie mission statement is basically to maintain a major presence in all the segments and also continually update our products that we have. We recognize that maintaining two products in every segment was the best way so we could get on both sides of the product segment, the high tech and the low tech. Erie, throughout the whole competition, kept a good scorecard, always kept their credit rating A or A double A. We always focused on keeping debt low. That was to our detriment towards the fifth and sixth round, and we fixed that. We also noticed that adding two more products to our model helped out. But through that, we always kept a profitable margins, and we always stayed on top. And throughout that, there was only two rounds where we were at the top of the profit, but because of the consistency we had, overall we did come out on top. As I said in the earlier slides, that we did have at first, we were just going to keep one product in each segment, just constantly upgrade and tweak, upgrade and tweak. But we noticed that our age on the low tech wasn't increasing enough. We also noticed that we weren't getting both ends of the segment. That I noticed that people that typically were at the top left of the segment and bottom right of the segment sweet spot were kind of getting double dipping, and so I noticed that we were missing out on that, and so we decided to adjust our strategy for that. Again, we emphasized on low tech at the beginning, just one, and then we noticed that because the age was falling behind, so we changed that, started focusing more on higher automation, more TQM, and that helped bring it down. Same thing with high tech. We noticed that, and so we started to tweak high tech more often and maintain it. And then we also had a future long shot that we started doing. That was like way out of the perspective circle, but we knew that once it hit, it would be at the highest end, and we'd get 2 good solid years out of it before we even needed to upgrade it. Baldwin overall was definitely our strongest competitor. They actually beat us a couple rounds. Andrew at the beginning and Digby did pretty good at the beginning, but the thing that set Baldwin apart and that actually made us change our strategy was that they definitely leveraged debt a lot more than we did, but their product placement wasn't that great. They didn't. They just started making products because they had the cash that they had borrowed, but they didn't really focus on where the products needed to be placed. So the seventh and eighth round, their products were all pretty much the same, but just 6 different names. And so once we noticed that, we found that we had a good spot to attack them on. And so the seventh and eighth round, we obviously did a little bit better. If this was still going for the next 4 years, we would obviously focus on keeping our debt at about 20 to 25% of our total earnings. We noticed that was a good sweet spot. We also would issue a lot more stock and a lot more dividends because our stock was at 80 per share, more likely going to go up. So we would issue very small amount of shares for how much money we could get out of it without diluting the share price as much. And also with the dividends, we would have to increase it to maintain the stock price and the dividend ratio that we wanted. Also, we would look more into capacity because we noticed that capacity always, obviously, you want to maintain with the growth of the market. We also wanted to increase automation because obviously the sooner you do that, the more you get out of it. So we always wanted to boost that rate right off the get-go. Then we, like I said, wanted to leverage more, use better dividends. And TQM we had already maxed out, so we probably wouldn't spend anything else in there since it was pretty much all maxed out. Overall, for our group, we all did really well. Commission, Jason did really well, talking to each other. We also had different sides of thinking. Like for example, I wanted just the one in each segment, but then he came up with the idea maybe two or three in each segment, and we settled on two. And that was what helped me realize that having one on the top, one on the bottom of each segment was definitely the best way to go about it in a long shot to maintain the high tech dominance. And we always found a middle ground. Josh was always kind of go with the flow, so it didn't really cause any disagreements. We never even had any major breaking points because we were always doing well. It's pretty easy to get along when you're doing well. But aside from that, it was a great project, and we appreciate the class. Have a great day.